Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the year again. The NFL playoffs are upon us. And for us Steelers fans, less than 2 days away, we shuffle off to Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills, talking about high winds, about a half a foot of snow. That's quite all right, Steelers fans. If it ain't rough, it ain't right. And the way in, make sure to please hit that like button. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. On a Friday. And once again, my computer hates me. Oh, this computer, I tell you. But it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. One monkey does. But that's all right. And once again, thanks so much for joining me this evening. Be sure to hit the like button. And we are going to start with tomorrow afternoon's game. Between the Cleveland Browns and Joe Flacco, taking on C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. Very rare for a rookie quarterback. Of course, I remember Big Ben Roethlisberger made it to the playoffs as a rookie. Now, he had a first-round bye because that year the Steelers were 15-1. And they eked out an overtime victory against the Jets. But I digress. Joe Flacco has played well once inserted as quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. The beautiful thing about the Dome Stadium in Houston is it is weatherproof. Even though Flacco's arm used to be weatherproof once upon a time, he can still throw the deep ball, no question about it. But of course, I mean, he's lost some of his basketball, not a lot. But again, that will not come into play here. Now, Cleveland has a top defense. But it's crazy how the Texans are at home, won their division, but are underdogs at home. Now, Myles Garrett can wreck the game. I understand that. And the Browns secondary is pretty good. And Houston has lost their top weapon, but they still have enough at receiver. And their running game is decent. It's not great, but it's decent. Cleveland's running game is pretty good, but their offensive line is nothing to write home about. The Browns are a very good team. Houston's a team on the rise. A lot of people think Houston's happy to be here. They went from worst to first. I mean, the Browns' playoff history recently is not great. I understand that Houston has very little. I know a lot of people are going to go with the Browns today. I understand that. And I wouldn't be shocked if they lost this game, but I'm going to go with the Houston Texans in a slight upset. I don't call it an upset when you're at home. But I think the Texans have what it takes to win this game. I am going Texans 27, Cleveland 24. Next up, the Miami Dolphins limp into Kansas City, because that's exactly what they're doing, to take on the Chiefs. Not that the Chiefs have played well either. Now, the biggest thing could be the weather, because they're talking about minus 10 degrees and a minus 30 wind chill. That does not bode well for Tua and the Dolphins. Now, last year, Miami almost went into Buffalo and won. Now, Kansas City has not been the same team all year. They've been up and down. I don't like the way they limped into this playoff, either team. But Miami has looked worse. And Kansas City at home, plus the elements. I can't stand Pat Mahomes. Can't stand him. I don't have to go over the reasons. I've done that enough. But I don't trust Tua. I just don't trust him. And because of that, I have to go Kansas City 27, Miami 17. And I'll be rooting heavy for the Dolphins because I can't stand Kansas City. And I sure as heck can't stand Taylor Swift. Makes me sick. And the more they compare her to Michael Jackson, makes me even more disgusted with her. But I digress. Next up is the only game that I'm really worried about and that I really care about. And it's my beloved Pittsburgh Steelers going into Buffalo to take on the Bills. Now, the Bills ended up red hot. They went from out of the playoffs to winning 5 straight and being the hottest team in the NFL. Well, guess who the second hottest team in the league is? Once we made the switch to Mason Rudolph, the offense woke up. The defense kept playing at a championship level because, let's face it, the Steelers do have a championship defense. Now, the heart and soul of that team, a lot of people will say is T.J. Watt. And he is the best player on the team, especially defensively. But the Steelers have depth at that position. When you look at Alex Highsmith, Marcus Golden, Nick Herbert, the rookie, we have depth at the edge rushing position. The heart and soul of that defense, believe it or not. And that lets you know the casual fan compared to the real Steeler fan. Because the heart and soul of that defense is one Cam Hayward. He is the guy we can't lose. And guess who comes back? KZ and Minka Fitzpatrick. So that shores up the secondary. Then you have the fact that there's going to be a half a foot of snow or more. And there's going to be howling winds in Buffalo. looks like a ground game of Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. Now, let's face it, the Steelers' running game is much better than the Bills' running game. The Bills' running game is Cook and a splash of Josh Allen. And we know Josh Allen likes to make sure the other team has fun with the football too. Mason takes care of the ball, and we run the ball well. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear it. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, you're still a fan. I expect you to do this. I am giddy about this because Buffalo, see, that window's just about closed because their championship aspirations have gone down the toilet so much. And if it's a close game, they're going to start to believe that they're going to lose it. I love the Steelers here. Upset special. Steelers 20, Bills 17. I am so looking forward to Sunday afternoon. Next up, the Green Bay Packers earn a trip to the playoffs. Jordan Love's first time at the helm. He's got to see Aaron Rodgers do it for so many years. Now it's his turn. I know Packer fans are giddy, and rightfully so, that they made the playoffs under Jordan Love, who's played very well over the past 4 weeks. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys have played pretty well, especially at home, but you know they got away with one against Detroit at home. But they showed some gumption against the Washington Commanders. That's a game they lost last year. You can run the ball on Green Bay. The problem is Dallas can't run the football. They stink. They ran a little bit last week. But I think that CeeDee Lamb going to be a little bit too much for the Packers secondary. Now, the Packers are going to keep it closer than people think. And I tell you what, if the Packers have the ball with 2 minutes left and they're down by a field goal, I could see the Packers pulling off the upset, but if that happens, believe me, Mark McCarthy's out of there. And they're going to go full steam ahead to Belichick if that happens. I believe Mike McCarthy lives for another day, and Dallas escapes 27-24 over the Green Bay Packers. Next up, the old Detroit quarterback comes back home to take on the current Detroit quarterback, Jared Goff, excuse me. And Goff's career has definitely been resurrected. And speaking of resurrected, listen, McVay, it looked like the Rams were going to have a ho-hum season, and here they are in the playoffs. That's a testament to his coaching, especially being in the same division as San Francisco. Now, a lot of people are thinking Detroit is happy to be here. They're not going to do much. But I think that fan base is going to explode. Hey! Oh, you was a hater, Mr. Carruthers, talking about my team wasn't going to make it. Oh, you like the Steelers now. But I tell you what, I think Chicago did very well considering this season. And they should just hang on to Justin Fields, build around him, and I believe you guys will be in the playoffs next year. I really, truly believe that. Always a pleasure to see you, Mr. Carruthers. I think Aaron Donald could wreck the game, but one thing about Dan Campbell and Detroit, they have built a very strong offensive line and a very strong defensive line. And listen, the Rams' offensive line stinks. And that Hutchinson guy, yeah, it is. No question. No question about it. Now, could Aaron Donald wreck this game? He absolutely could. Do I think he will? I think he'll show flashes because great players do that. And the Rams definitely have the receivers to bother Detroit. But that works both ways. It's going to be a very close football game. I'm going Detroit 24-23 over the Rams. I would not be shocked if the Rams beat them. But I like this Detroit team. I'm just saying. And the final game is the Monday Nighter, where the Philadelphia Eagles limp into the playoffs against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, you look at if the Eagles can't beat the Giants, and they got beat, and I mean beat them. Now you expect me to believe that he's going to, all of a sudden, the Eagles are going to turn on the switch and beat Tampa Bay. Now, I understand that Tampa Bay didn't do much against Carolina. And they didn't. But I do believe that Tampa Bay is playing a heck of a lot better than Philadelphia is. And they'll be at home. And listen, a lot of people are disrespecting Tampa Bay right now. And I understand their division stank. I get it. But do you trust the Eagles right now? And I understand it's Baker Mayfield at quarterback. I get it. And Baker could lose this game. I understand that. But I just can't pick. I can't pick the Eagles. I can't do it. This is my upset special of the day. Tampa Bay 24, Eagles 17. And those are my 2024 playoff picks. But before I leave, it's time to say goodbye to the most overrated coach in NFL history. And that is Bill Belichiat. Belichick. He is the most overrated coach in all of pro football. I can't stand him. He is an absolute disgrace to all of pro football. And I understand that there will be a lot of fans who are like, oh, man, Bill Belichick was great. I mean, he look at all those championships he won with Tom Brady. Yeah, that's just it. Can someone tell me what Bill Belichick's record is without cheating Tom Brady? Well, give me a second. I'll look it up for you. Belichick record without Tom Brady is a paltry. Oh, I know you're going to ride with everybody but the Steelers, and that's fine. I got the Cowboys, I got Detroit, I got the Chiefs. I do not have the Eagles. I do have the Texans. So we pretty much agree. Here is Bill Belichick's record without Tom Brady, ladies and gentlemen. 85-102. Stinks. $85 wins, 102 losses. Now I'm trying to look up what Chuck Noll's record is without Terry Bradshaw. And I don't see it. Trying to look at his record without Bradshaw. I was trying to look it up. It's not letting me find it out. That's horrible. Well, that's both him and cheating Tom Brady. But see also the difference. With Chuck Noll. Here's the difference also with Chuck Noll and Bill Belichick. Name a playoff game where Belichick won with a guy not named Tom Brady. You can't. I understand the Steelers also had a rough time without him. But see, Chuck Noll won playoff games. We know he won 4 Super Bowls in 6 years. But here's the thing, too. Great coaches win with a lack of talent. The mark of a great coach is doing the best you have with what you have. He won Super Bowls with Terry Bradshaw, a Hall of Famer. He went to the AFC Championship game with Mark Malone. He won a playoff game on the road against Warren Moon with Bubby Brister. And that is why, in my opinion, Chuck Noll is the greatest coach this side of Vince Lombardi. In fact, the guy that Bill Belichick coached under is a much better coach than Bill Belichick. And for those who don't remember, and I know real Giant fans remember, that man is Bill Parcells. And we know that Bill Parcells won 2 championships with the New York Giants. Yeah, I hope so too, because we get hosed on a lot of these calls, and you know it as well as I do. But not only did he win championships with the Giants, but he built that Jet team from the ground up and took them to an AFC championship. He set the tone for the Dallas Cowboys as well. He's the guy who drafted DeMarcus Ware and Tony Romo. And for a while, Dallas was a decent team. And Parcells built it when they were a nothing team. Bill Belichick never built a team like that. He lucked into Tom Brady. That's the best thing Belichick ever did. So, bye-bye Belichick and Nick Saban, who's also from that Belichick coaching tree. And that Belichick coaching tree has done absolutely nothing in the NFL. And we'll see what Gerard Mayo does in New England. But as far as I'm concerned, bye-bye and good riddance to Bill Belichick. And there'll be a desperate team that reaches out to him. But I don't think Bill Belichick will win another championship. That's just my opinion. And I don't want him anywhere near my team. I do hope they build around Justin Fields. But let's face it, your team, I don't know. I don't know if your coach deserves another chance. But we'll see. But on to the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Mr. Carruthers. And thank you to the people in the clouds, and we look forward to the playoffs. But until then, UncleClaude signing out. Take care. Stay safe, and God bless. Good night, everybody.